Hello and welcome to Total War Warhammer 3 Champions of Chaos. I'm Shadow Coast and welcome to the channel. In this video we are going to provide 5 helpful tricks for your Champions of Chaos playthrough, be it Immortal Empires or the Realms of Chaos campaign. Tip number 1 is actually a twofer. When you're starting off, especially in Realms of Chaos, you can actually bypass that first Norscan army and take this settlement. You'll vassalize them, and then you can use that army to send them off in different directions. But tip number 1 is really plan your army. I know this sounds relatively simple, but you're going to move quickly as Champions of Chaos, and you're going to really want to be thoughtful on how you're planning your army. So what that means is really take a look at warband upgrades and look at what you're going to want to build towards, be it Chaos Undivided units or your faction units. So I'm playing as Valkia here, so Khorne. And the reason I say that is that depending on what you want your final kind of tier 5 army to be, you're going to want to grow your units so you can upgrade them accordingly. So for example, if I know I'm going to want a bunch of Chosen of Khorne, and here I'm going to want to recruit in early game a decent number of Marauders. And once I have a few Marauders, here I'll show you how this works. I'm going to recruit. Once I have a few Marauders, I can see the path to upgrade. So for example, if I want this Marauder to be an aspiring champion, I'll kind of keep upgrading them in this line. If I'm going to want to have, say, a Chosen of Khorne, I can actually upgrade him to immediately become a Marauder of Khorne and work up the tree. As long as he's kind of in the Marauder fashion, I can kind of flip back and forth between these two, or kind of leave them as is and then make the decision a little later. But you're going to want to plan that out because you're going to want to gain experience. Which brings me to tip number 2, maximize experience gain across the board. There are 3, or technically 4 ways you can do this. The first is your Legendary Lord. If you look at the Legendary Lords, they all have some form of devoted to chaos. Not only do you gain increased souls, which is good, but more importantly, you gain increased experience when fighting forces of order, which you should be probably doing in any chaos campaign. So that's one way to do it. You can get plus 20% there. The next way you can upgrade is ensuring that you have a hero in your army. So here I've already kind of chosen his path of Khorne, so he's now an exalted hero of Khorne. But here you're going to want to add in training, maximize this out early, so you're just getting those extra points to level up your units so then you can upgrade them. Next, we have Gifts of Chaos. There are different Gifts of Chaos that you can kind of allocate. What I always like to do is, off the bat, implement Raiders Lament. Unit experience gain plus 25%. On top of that, this can be further upgraded through the last way, through technology. I think it's Scrutiny of the Gods. I think it's called Scrutiny of Gods for all of them, but unit experience gain plus 25% for Marauders, upgrade, gift, Raiders of Remnant, an additional plus 25% for Marauders. So make sure you're maximizing experience gain across the board. This will help you for all your units after you kind of plan your army so they can gain experience fast and then be upgraded. Tip number 3, make sure that you are capping appropriate provinces. So some provinces, like this one, only give us 1 spot or slot. We're better off just giving this to a vassal or raising it and having the vassal kind of claim it. That being said, there are special areas. They have different icons, so Dark Fortress sites. These you're going to want to capture, and in many cases when you capture it, you will then automatically vassalize the appropriate chaos-aligned faction that kind of reports into it. So do recommend only capping Dark Fortresses effectively. They have this giant icon that says Dark Fortress, and as you do that, you'll automatically kind of vassalize various factions. There are other ways to vassalize factions, where if you take their kind of main settlement, you have the opportunity to vassalize them. Which brings me to tip number 4, make your vassals work for you. So if you click on diplomacy, then you click on war coordination, you can select your vassals over here to the right and assign them to do different things. Don't worry, you're going to gain allegiance points pretty early. They do and can issue missions, so just make sure you're kind of picking those up as you go to make sure that you're kind of maximizing that. But once you have them there, just make sure that you're setting your target. You can attack targets, defend targets, occupy targets. Defend targets really good. If there's an upcoming rebellion, I'll tell the closest one to go defend it. They'll sit kind of by that area, that dark fortress that I'm focused on capping, and then they'll crush the rebellion once it spawns. Alternatively, we can kind of coordinate different attacks on different settlements or armies, which is very helpful. So tip number 4, make your vassals work for you. Keep it on cooldown. They'll sometimes do their own thing, which is helpful, but sometimes they'll just kind of sit there and do absolutely nothing. So make sure you're keeping an eye on them and assigning targets so they'll eventually accept and then attack and do your bidding. Finally, the final tip here is don't be afraid to raise numerous armies. Again, it's really about kind of creating replenishment when you're recruiting it. So by that, what I mean is you can see here, these are the percent that they're kind of replenishing. Right now, I'm kind of capped out down here, so I should be putting these in a secondary army. The reason I say that is, if you look at our upkeep, 4985, if we were to raise another army here, we will have this upkeep cost, but even on legendary or very hard, which you're going to see here, this has not changed. So there is no increase in supply lines, which is absolutely critical. So don't be afraid to raise a second, third army early in your campaign, and then recruiting in armies. Again, make sure you kind of plan what you want them to be like and how you're going to upgrade, but make sure you're kind of recruiting everybody in, building them out. You are going to have to pay this upkeep cost, but it's not going to be exponentially higher. So for me, I tend to play in very hard or legendary difficulties, which we are right now, and that'll be really, really important because that'll allow me to raise more armies at once to expand even faster. So hopefully you found these tips and tricks helpful for your Chaos of Champions campaign. If you did, please drop a thumbs up. And if you have any interest in supporting the channel, please consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching and hope to see you in future videos. Shadow Coast out.